Hello there, Ray here, and we just got a brand new 1.14 snapshot. This is the first one of the new year, and this is 19W02A. And in this snapshot, they came out with functions for 3 new blocks that they have introduced in 1.14, as well as went ahead and fixed some pretty major bugs that were in the prior snapshot. I'll be going over all the changes today in the snapshot, as well as talk a little bit about each of the functions of the new block. If you'd like to see more testing to do with the 1.14 snapshots, be sure to join our streams, which are at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We are going to be streaming tonight on Wednesday. It's all going to be about the snapshots and cool things that you can do with these new mechanics. They added a new block in the game, and that is a campfire, and you can find these in the creative menu inside of the decorations at the very bottom here. Campfire can be crafted up by using logs on bottom, some 3 sticks on top, as well as coal, or it can be also charcoal, and this will produce 1 campfire. The campfires allow you to add food to it. It doesn't have a GUI, so you can't click into it. But if you have food in your hand and you right click on the fire, it will place it around the outside. So there's our pork, and then we can place in a potato right here. And if I click like on this side, it's just going to automatically go around clockwise. And then here I can put in a raw rabbit on this side. It can hold 4 different things, and they will cook them up just like a furnace would, except it's going to take a little bit longer. But once the food does get fully cooked, they're going to start popping off as items. There you go, see, we just got our pork back. Here's a potato, popped off. There's our fish, it kind of popped off and went that direction. And there's our cooked rabbit. Now, it only works with food items. So if I'd use like a sea pickle on this, you see I can't put it on there. Something like kelp, which is actually considered food, you can put kelp on there. So the nice thing about campfires is that they're not like a fire and they won't spread fire onto other blocks, so they're safe to have around flammable material. But just as normal fire, you can walk into it and take some damage, but you're not going to catch on fire. You can see that every time I stand in it, I get half a heart, but I'm not on fire after I leave it. Now the fire in the campfire will not be able to destroy items, so I throw like some item onto it, it'll be just fine. But it does do damage to mobs. Let's grab a llama. If I just place it on there, you can see it takes damage. So you could use this as a method to kill mobs, and then have hoppers underneath or hopper minecart, and just pick up the items. Campfires have a unique collision box. That is, if you stand on top of it, the amount of pixels that moves you upward is different than any other block that we currently have in Minecraft. If you guys watch my video where I go over all the different types of block sizes, you'll know that the 5 pixel size of a block used to be the size of a cauldron, but it was removed. So now with this block, we have all the different size heights pixel-wise. So now with the new campfire, we now have 5 pixels. So we have every single height worth of pixel-wise in Minecraft now. The campfires put up a light source of 9, so in the very center it's 9, and then it slowly diminishes as you go away. It's also animated as well as the block item. So if I drop the item, you can see it's animated. Seagrass used to also be this way, where it'd be animated in the hand as well as inventory, but they have removed that. So maybe they'll bring that back again. They can be used to make smoke signals. So here's a normal campfire, and you can see the smoke goes about that high. And then if you place a hay bale underneath of the campfire, it'll make a smoke signal, which goes quite high. You can see this one compared to that one. It's at least twice as high as the normal one. And this smoke signal can be seen from very far away, they said. Let's move quite far away. These are just particles, I'm guessing, so most of the time particles lose their render distance, but yeah, from here I can still see it. I guess it might be compared to similar to like a beacon where you can see those quite far. Yeah, even from here I can see the smoke signals. Now that was 12 chunks away. Now I'm 32. I maxed out my render distance so that it's the farthest that Minecraft will allow. And if I turn my screen to the side, you can kind of see in the top left corner that I can still see the smoke signal. It is updating, like I can see the smoke rising upwards. They weren't joking when they said that you can see it very, very far away. So a beacon can be seen out 16 chunks. I just got the beacon within render distance, so you can see it now. But man, that smoke signals, you can see that 32 chunks away. With the hay bale underneath being a smoke signal, it's about 22 meters tall. You can still see they have problems with the rendering, as a lot of particles will render in front of the water, so you can kind of see this X-ray underneath the water thing. And this bug is one of the oldest bugs inside of Minecraft they still haven't fixed. You can put out the campfires by placing water on it. Essentially, you're waterlogging this, and even if you hold F3, it'll say on the right-hand side that this is a signal fire that is waterlogged, and it's lit as false. Then you can remove the water, and you have a campfire that's not lit. Then you can relight it by using a flint and steel on it. Campfires without fires are not able to place down any of your food. It can't be pushed or pulled by pistons. Similar to other types of particles, you can place blocks above it, preventing the particles from going upwards, You can make actual types of smoke signals by opening and closing a piston and sending up big plumes of smoke. Here we go, closed again. Let some smoke build up underneath and then release it. You can see there's a nice little plume right at the top there. And yeah, you can maybe send a signal to your friend off in the distance. You could try to automate this cooker by having the items being placed on it, and then maybe having a hopper pick it up. But it's most likely you will want to use a real furnace cooking items and not using this fire, as you have to place them down manually with the player. And using hoppers pointing into it with the items which should cook up, you can see they don't go inside of it. So there is no like GUI inside of it. They also added some new functions to the cartographer table, which is one of the new utility blocks that they added in 1.14. You can right click it now, and now I have a GUI. And inside here, you can do a lot of the same things you can do prior, but with a crafting table. So you can place in your map as well as any empty maps, and you can make duplicates like this one over here. And you can also use a cartographer table to go ahead and extend your map. So here we got a small map, as their previous one. And if you put some paper in, we can come out with a larger one. Now let's take out our new map and let's see what it looks like. This is level 1 of 4 and this is level 0 of 4. And this map is quite a bit bigger now than our small one. And each time you do this, it only uses up one paper. It does seem that the output here, doesn't always update. So here, these two look exactly the same. If I pull it out, put it over here, you see it looks like one of the first ones I had, looks like this very first one I have. But if I actually look at it, now the detail has changed. Now it says level 3 over 4 and scale 1 of 8. So maybe they should make it so it updates in here or your inventory. And then the largest one is the 4x4 map, which, yeah, it makes the spot we were staying on a very small little spot. Now they added something new where you can stick maps in here as well as add glass panes. And this will lock your map, meaning that it can no longer be updated. So let's make a locked map. And now if I change anything on this map, it'll never be updated. So I fill this area in with some diamond blocks, and the locked map, which is this one here, shouldn't update. The second map that I have here is actually the normal map. For some reason that didn't update either, so maybe there's a bug with it. But then I just opened up a new map, and you can see that it did update. So maybe there's something that's not quite right with it. You can see my character is not even moving in this map, and this is one that's not supposed to be locked. You still can use a crafting table to make duplicates as well. So here I made duplicate of 9 of them. You also can do the scaling inside crafting table still, but you can't do the locking thing where you do with the glass panes by the map. It also doesn't work with color panes. They also added some new functions to the Lectern, which can be found in the Redstone components way down here. To craft a Lectern, you use 4 slabs, and then you have a bookshelf in the center here. That'll produce 1 Lectern. So the way they use the Lectern is you cannot right-click directly into it. First you gotta put a written book into it. So I got book and quill, and you can write whatever you want into it, and then you're done. You can always sign it. And then once you have a written book, like this one, then you can just right click on it. And if you do this in survival mode, it will take your book, put it on display. Then you can right click onto a lectern and you can see your story. You can flip through the pages. You can click done. That allows it so anybody who wants to come up, they can come up into it and right click into it and read it. If you want to, you can also take the book back out. The lectern is in the redstone components because you can attach a redstone comparator to the back of it and you can read the contents of it. And here you see that with the book here on page 1, it will have a signal strength of 1. And then if I would switch to page 2, it has a little bit greater signal strength. So it went all the way over to this note block and it actually turned it on. But then once you go ahead and X out of it, it will keep the signal strength at whatever page you left it on. So I left it on page 3, so now it has the signal strength. Now the way that the signal strength works out on the back is like a percentage. So depending on how many books you have, depends on how great the signal strength will jump. So I put a lot of pages in this one. I have 47 pages, meaning that I have to go through a lot of pages just before it goes up one level. So here I'll put in a couple of comparators so you can see when it makes it to the next level. Let me click on it. So I'm switching through the pages, and here went to the next one. Switch to a couple more, goes to the next one. And because of that, you can actually easily adjust how far you want the redstone signal to go, depending on what page it is. I mean, this is a really nice redstone component to go ahead and place inside of situations where you want to get a very specific type of redstone signal. You don't really want to play around with items. Now, even though the Lectern appears to have a collision box, because you can see the hitbox here, you can actually still run into it and walk over top of it, so your person doesn't collide with it, and you still end up being on top of the pedestal part down here. So that might be a bug, and they might have to go ahead and add in the collision to do with this top piece. For people that want to tell a story using these books, as a person advances in the story, you can make it so that certain stuff will occur. So maybe certain notes will play during a certain spot, or maybe it'll actually come in here and do something to the player. So maybe after you get to like a certain part where you start talking about a zombie, maybe you'll release a zombie onto the player. You can do some pretty cool stuff with this. The cartographer table is very similar to a crafting table, where you can put items into it, but as soon as you exit, they're going to remove them. And this way, you can also move it with a piston. But the Lectern you can't because it has the GUI. Now you can use the control pick block to get a custom NBT tag of the fire. So here got a couple here as well. You can do this also on the lectern. But when you place it on the lectern, you don't have like the book inside of it, like the one you pick block. Or if you do like pick block a campfire that has no fire, you place it down, it still has the fire. They also fixed quite a few bugs in the snapshot, including luck and bad luck being able to work a lot of circumstances that they didn't used to before. Now bad luck has now been renamed to bad omen, so maybe when you have the bad omen effect and you enter a chest that can have loot inside of it, such as like a dungeon, maybe your chance of getting the good loot actually decreases in survival as well. They fixed fireworks that are fired with a crossbow, being able to slide across the ground, and Illager patrol leaders lacking the Illager banner on their heads when they respond in with their raid, and servers crashing when the raid would end. And they also fixed the really nasty bug that we kept encountering during our snapshot testing live streams. And that's when you summon an Illager near a village, the second wave is being loaded at the same time, and this causes a crash. So hopefully we'll be able to update our Totem of Undying farm so that it will now work without it crashing. They also said they fixed the problem with the small fireballs, where when you relog, they turn into large ones. And the biggest change that I would probably say is that they also said they improved the performance. And as far as I can tell, it looks like it's quite a bit better. I was able to render out a render distance of 32. Some of it's not quite rendering properly, but for the most part, I didn't really have any large lag problems that I've seen in the prior snapshots. But as usual, there's always something that can be improved when it comes to performance. I'm really excited about the 1.14 snapshot, and I can't wait to see what other things they have introduced with it, especially to do with the villagers. Now, some of these changes kind of feel like modded, like being able to place down items onto a campfire. You gotta remember that it's pretty hard for the developers to come up with something that doesn't already appear in some type of mod. And for me, I really enjoy the ability to having new blocks with new functions that I can mess around with, especially if they have some redstone related characteristics. I'd like to thank you guys for watching, and if you found this video interesting, show me the like and share this with others. I really appreciate that. If you'd like to see more snapshot review videos like this, be sure to go ahead and subscribe and hit that bell button to get notifications. And I'd love to hear what you guys think about this snapshot, and if there's something specific that you want me to test about this snapshot, tell me down in the comments and I'll test it during the live stream. Bye bye!